What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So there is probably a master plan behind Regan Grimes looking so lean 8 weeks out of this year's Mr. Olympia. I do think it's a high likelihood that Regan might be doing France Pro, which is scheduled 2 weeks before the Olympia this year. And newsflash, that is going to be an Olympia qualifier for next year. So Regan is setting himself up for a perfect off-season. And if he's able to win in France and get his Olympia qualification, that is gonna be an ideal case scenario for him. And there are some pretty high chances that this qualifier is going to have the least amount of pros because most of these top guys, they are just focused on bringing their best at the Olympia this year. So Samson Dauda isn't jumping into that show this year either because it's too big of a risk, as this is his first ever Olympia title defense. And Regan looking so damn awesome and so great. And who knows, he might pick differently for this one with his current coach and bring an even better package, a very hard and conditioned look. And that is something which he was unable to deliver with Stefan as his coach. So at this point, the way the competition is just getting better with every passing year, Regan does need another long off season, and he will love to do that without having to skip the entire season. So getting his Olympia qualification very early in the season, that is going to be the ideal case scenario. It's a pretty simple fact at this point that the man is still behind in terms of his legs development. So a whole lot of unfulfilled potential in Regan right there. And so far he has been unable to present that hard granite look on the stage. But physique wise, this has been the best year for him so far. He took the entire last year off. He came back looking comparatively bigger than last year. And it is gonna be so cool to see Stefan Matala share the stage with some of these Olympians like Regan and see where he's at in the men's open division against the top pros. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. If I'm not mistaken, Chul, he's the only bodybuilder from South Korea to have qualified for Mr. Olympia in the men's open. And just take a guess, whom did he beat to earn that Olympia qualification? Who could be in that second place in that show back in 2020? That is none other than the reigning Olympia champion, Samson Dauda, who placed second at Monsters in Pro that year. And this just shows the inspiring story of Samson Dauda and how he rose to the top. So Chul just made it official that he's now retired from the Pro League. But looking at him at the age of 47, if he makes up his mind, this guy can be a contender to win the Masters Olympia title. He still has got a lot of mass, and that conditioning for the guest posing, that was very solid. But this also shows that only a handful of people, they have careers like Samson Dauda, who got beat by literally everyone back in the day. And now the man is the reigning Olympia champion and the favorite to win the second send-out of his career. So the level of competition that also got way better overall since that year. That is also the reason why a guy like Chul, he was unable to make it to the Olympia stage again. So this is gonna be one of those classic physique Olympias this year, where all the potential top 6, except for Oskar Lashinsky, they are posting full physique updates. And here we have another one from the reigning Arnold champion and the favorite to win this year's Olympia title, Mike Sommerfeld. 8 weeks out, fasted with nothing to hide. So the guy is already looking so sharp. And that too with the least amount of changes in his diet. So it's so hard to imagine Mike missing his mark in terms of conditioning for the Olympia this year. I mean, the guy has the thinnest skin for 8 weeks out. And just look at how he's posing for the front double and the front lat spread, implementing a bit of twist to enhance his X-frame even more, which is already one of the best in the world. So totally understandable why the judges think that Mike is truly classic. He has that unbelievable lats to waist ratio, and also he has those massive sweeping quads, which just allow him to create that perfect illusion of having a crazy V-taper on the stage. And most of you guys would agree that his physique makes the biggest transformation when he has a decent pump. And all of these guys must go through a depletion mode where they look all flat and depleted. And that is needed in order to bring their 100% on the stage. So his comment section, that is spammed with dinosaurs, who obviously are Ramondino fans. So this is gonna be a very interesting battle. Now at the end of the day, it's the judge's definition of classic physique which truly matters on the day of the show. And Mike winning the Arnold, and that too with perfect scores, that made him a very legit Olympia contender for this year and the favorite to win this year's Olympia title. So we came across some of the biggest bodybuilding legends in the 90s era. And to this day, whenever this question arises on who are the uncrowned Olympia champions, for instance Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, the Sultan of Symmetry, Flex Wheeler, they are on the top of that list. So here is a blast from the past. A prime Flex Wheeler after a workout in the late 90s. And if you look at that physique, that is probably as close a bodybuilder ever got to perfection in the entire bodybuilding history. Now obviously he did not win the Olympia, but that in my opinion is one of the greatest physique to step foot on any bodybuilding stage. I mean, this guy literally had everything. Some of the craziest round muscle bellies ever, crazy back development. I'm gonna say probably some of the greatest lower back Christmas tree. Not to mention the craziest proportions and possibly the best midsection the sport has ever seen. Now if we are being too picky, the only thing Flex was missing throughout his career was that he did not get hot and dry enough in the hamstrings and the glutes, which according to him was more of a posing issue. And during the later stages of his career, for example, if we take a look back at the British Grand Prix 1999, he was one of the biggest guys on the stage and nobody could touch him in the overall aesthetics too. Now, no disrespect to modern era top bodybuilders, but Flex in his prime, with tighter hamstrings and glutes, he would have won the Olympia today. So how many of you guys agree that Flex Wheeler had the most perfect looking physique in the entire history of the sport? So here we have an off-season physique update from Colossus Scan, one of the upcoming talents who made his pro debut earlier this year at the New York Pro. Now for being a rookie, he brought an amazing package, especially the one that he brought at the Legion Sports this year. The look was pretty damn impressive, and Ken as a rookie, he did not have these expectations that he's going to win his first pro show in his first pro season, especially in a time when we have several former Olympians failing to qualify for the Olympia. The aim was to make a statement that he has arrived and get a feedback from the judges to build a better version for next year. Now if we look at that physique versus when he turned pro and also the one that he presented on the stage, he put on a lot of muscle, although he did lose a lot of that, a lot of his wow factor in chasing that crispiness and the conditioning. But that is the name of the game. We are talking about open bodybuilding here, where 99% of these guys, they will always get the same feedback. Bring more muscle, more mass, and also more polish. And Ken is bound to present a bigger and a better look as he gets more muscle maturity and more density. So that 3 years transformation from Ken, that is truly mind-blowing. So looking forward to see what he can do the next time he steps on stage, and the goal next year, that will be stepping on the Olympia stage. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.